Zilch left, 35 Wichita Macho
Dice
Toe.
right, F5.
Dice right numbers, 3 Jet Spielberg.
Ready? Right. All right, welcome back to the Pre-Snap Pressure Podcast, episode 16, getting into the last 4 weeks of the college football season. And actually coming up today, around the time this is getting uploaded, we're going to get the first college football playoff rankings. I'm excited to see that. We're going to talk a little bit about our takes on the playoffs later in this episode. I'm Nick Lazo, of course, joined as always by Ryan Shapiro. How you doing today, Ryan?
Pretty good. I was feeling a little sick over the weekend, and then yesterday I got to Walgreens, got some medicine, and started feeling better pretty quick, actually, which was nice.
Not filming this on our normal day because we didn't want to give you guys a second episode of Ryan sounding or feeling like crap.
Like death. I was bleh.
It was bleh, bleh. All right,
Yeah.
getting into our Week 10 recap. 10 weeks through the college football season. As we always say, going by too fast. Starting off with the bottom 5. Honorable mention to Carson Beck for not only throwing the game-losing interception, but then going on to say this after the game.
No, I mean, they ran the same thing the whole time. I just execute the play that's called.
That's not a good teammate. If you're blaming anybody else but yourself for what's going on, that's not good. He did the same thing after the Louisville game too.
Gee, seems like there's a pattern there.
Man, it's almost like he's not a good teammate. Wow, we could have seen that coming.
Maybe it's almost like he's a termite.
Almost, man. It's almost like, I don't know, the last team he played for, there was a lot of noise about him not getting along in the locker room very well.
Yeah.
Who could have seen that coming? Anyways, moving on to number 5 of the bottom 5 is Georgia Tech's defense, because what are we doing? You led up 48 to NC State, and you secured yourself the first loss of the year.
Yeah, that was not the time to lose.
No.
If you're Georgia Tech, you're finally in the top 10. You're finally, getting all this momentum. Haynes King, by the way, goes off. Your offense scores 36. This was the most they've given up all year. Before that, it was 29 to Wake Forest.
That was a game
Other
they
than
should've
that,
lost
they had really only that was one they should have lost. Other than that, they haven't really given up very many points this year. This kind of just felt like a hiccup type of game where it's just like, oh, it's that. But it kind of hurts their chance at the ACC championship game.
Which I feel like they were gonna have one of these games where they just lost to a team they shouldn't have lost to.
Well, yeah, because that's
I thought it was gonna be a lot
two of their
earlier in
last
the year,
three.
but
Should have been to Wake Forest.
it should have been a Wake Forest. This is still salvageable for them. I think even if they were to not finish out the year, winning the rest of the way, I think they could still make the ACC championship and still get into the playoffs. That way. By the way, we had a snub in our top 5 later. Jaden Scott for NC State. Good Lord, 24 carries, 196 rushing yards, and a touchdown. 8.2 yards a carry. No wonder NC State scored 48.
You could also argue there's another snub in our top 5, but we'll talk about it.
Is it on the same team?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll let you get to that when we get to that. Number 4 in the bottom 5 is Cincinnati for being put on College Game Day and absolutely turning away when the light is the brightest.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of that playoff game they played a couple of years ago, where they were again, like it's one of those bad teams that just finally got the national recognition that they deserved, and then Alabama showed everyone why they don't deserve that national recognition, and then Utah did the same thing this week. It was just an absolute bloodbath. I mean, 45-14.
I feel like there's a different. Keep going.
I mean, just didn't even put up a fight, dude.
I feel like there's a different level of disappointment to that though, because I feel like good 80% of people were like, "Oh, Bama's gonna roll over Cincinnati." I think both of us picked Cincinnati going into this game. We were like, "Oh man, Cincinnati's the real deal." Brendan Sorsby he's looking like a Heisman candidate this past, and they just completely came out
You
playing
remember?
like
You remember?
crap.
You remember how we were surprised that the line was -9.5 at
Oh
one
yeah, we
point?
did say that.
We were perplexed at that one. Not we. All right, Vegas knows ball. I guess.
Vegas
All right,
knows.
jeez.
Vegas knows. Do
House
not
always wins.
get anything mixed up. Vegas always knows. Moving on to number 3. They know more than us at least. Moving on to number
Yeah.
3 is Tulane for something similar, except they just turned away at a game they shouldn't have fallen apart in.
Yeah, I mean, Tulane had one of the easiest paths to the American Championship game. All they had to do was beat Memphis, which not easy, but if they would have been able to beat Memphis, their one loss would have been to Ole Miss, and they got murdered in that game. But it's still one loss, and they would have been 11-1. Memphis is 10-2. You're either getting in over Navy or North Texas at that point.
They now dropped to 4th in the standings for the American, behind Navy, Memphis, and North Texas. So
Yeah, it's going to be a lot tougher to get in now.
absolutely.
And actually, I think right now it's Memphis and North Texas
Right
are
now
the
it's
top two since
Memphis and
since
Navy.
North Texas beat Navy. So if North Texas gets that fifth win
Yeah, I guess.
in their conference, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, you're right. So yeah, right now it would be North Texas and Memphis. Yeah, so Tulane's kind of screwed themselves out of controlling their own destiny with that loss there.
Yep.
Moving on to number 2. Oh my God. So we didn't have a good amount of like really quality games last week, so we had to get creative with our 6 games that we picked. So we picked this one, Oregon State and Washington State, for being the first Pac-12 game of the year and one of only 2. And oh my God, this game was terrible. This might have been the worst game of the year.
So I'm looking at the stats, right?
Yeah.
Jabari Johnson goes 10 of 15 for 33 yards. Are we only calling screens?
I don't know, man.
Was that the only play we knew how to call?
I mean,
He finished with a 10.6 QBR. Oh my gosh. Zavai Eckhouse went 13 of 24, 146 yards, 2 interception, had a QBR of 12.1. This might have been the worst quarterback game of all
ever.
time.
This was actually terrible.
Ever. Since the forward pass has been implemented.
I feel bad for any person that actually sat down and watched this game to completion. Thank God I didn't, or you didn't.
Dude,
oh my God, we would have wanted to just not watch football for the rest of the day.
Yeah, dude, I feel bad for Oregon State and Washington State fans because these two teams used to be really good.
Yeah. And then, your conference falls apart, and so do your programs.
Jeez.
Yeah. Moving on to number 1 of the bottom 5. Hugh Freeze, say goodbye. We were wrong about this, or at least I was. I was the one last week saying he's not going to get fired. There's no way they'd fire him now. Who are they going to hire? What do you know? They lose to Kentucky, and boom, he's gone the very next day. So,
granted, that game might have been worse than...
That game might have actually been worse.
I'm
not saying it's not deserved that he should have gotten fired, because yeah, it was time for him to get out of there. I just didn't think Auburn was actually going to pull the trigger on it.
Quite literally one of the most even football games. 241 total yards to 240, 2 turnovers each, 16 first downs to 17, 3 penalties to 4 penalties, none over 30 yards on the penalty yardage, 6 for 13 on third down for Kentucky, 6 for 16 for Auburn, 1 for 3 on fourth down for Auburn, and then about 50-50 on the time of possession.
Except one of these teams is around the top 30 to 20 in recruiting, and one of them isn't.
Yeah,
One of these teams has Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton, and the other one doesn't.
And Cam Coleman only got 5 catches for 30.
One of these teams has Keldrick Falk, and the other one doesn't. Yeah.
One of these teams has Jackson Arnold. One of them doesn't.
Okay, that's not a good thing. So
that's the thing.
he threw 3 passes, and still a negative impact on the game.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's 3 carries, negative 12 yards.
Get a quarterback, Auburn. You haven't had one in.
Since
Good lord, Bo Nix.
since camp.
Bo Nix.
Yeah, since Bo. Yeah.
They've gone from Robbie Ashford to Peyton Thorne to Jackson Arnold.
Jeez.
Man, it's been a rough 4 years as an Auburn fan.
Figure it out, guys. Jeez.
Get a quarterback, please.
You guys are like a premier SEC program.
You guys are like, you have a program, you have history, you have name value. Do something with it.
Serious.
You're embarrassing your fans on the plains. All right. Moving on to the
Dying
top.
just like their program.
Yeah. Good lord. Moving on to the top 5. Honorable mention to Louisiana's governor for firing LSU's athletic director. I don't know if have you watched SEC Roll Call yet?
No, I need to.
There's a really funny bit about that.
Whoa, it just keeps going.
We ain't got no coach, athletic director, university president.
So who is running your school right now?
Would that be the governor?
Yeah, I mean, that dude ruined 2 programs. So
Yeah, he ruined Texas A&M.
Texas A&M.
Who's bounced
Now
back.
they're back at least.
And now LSU. Wonder how long it takes them to recoup. Shouldn't take long. But
Nah, they'll be fine. They'll get Lane Kiffin this year,
yeah,
probably.
you think
I don't
so?
know. No, I don't know. The coaching carousel is going to be crazy this year.
How many interviews do you think Lane Kiffin gets? I don't know. Probably about 10. Who knows?
Funny.
Moving on to number 5 is Julian Sayin. Not really much to say other than dude was balling.
3 incompletions, 4 touchdowns. That's all you got to say.
Yep. 38-14
I mean,
rout
phenomenal
Penn
work.
State.
Phenomenal work.
He's looking better and better each and every game. He looked very, I want to say, underwhelming in the first week, and then ever since then, it's just been gotten that little just bit better every week. What's up?
2,200 yards, 23 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, first in QBR. I know it's the team around him, but like, throw him in the Heisman conversation.
Oh yeah, he's definitely inserted himself up there along with Simpson and Mendoza.
Mendoza had a rough week too.
Yeah, and they still won by 40. So
Fair enough.
that's you're not really getting.
You know what's funny? He's got more yards than both Simpson and Mendoza.
Who's saying?
Yep.
I see that.
That's,
Doesn't even have a rough
and-
week. He just had like a midweek.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's
He
a
had a rough
very-
week. You can't be mid if you're in the Heisman, right?
That's true. No, you're right. All right, moving on to number 4 is Haynes King. Despite the loss, he quite literally did everything he could to win Georgia Tech that game. Besides throwing,
Dude, 500 total yards, 400 yards passing, and 100 rushing, and then 2 total touchdowns.
4.
4 total touchdowns. Sorry, 2 passing, 2 rushing.
Yeah.
Dude, just like if anybody said anything bad about him after the game, turn in every credential you ever have received because you just don't know ball.
He had 1 interception, but like, dude,
Dude,
I had 500 total yards.
Like,
But next
if my
leading,
quarterback threw for 400 yards and had 4 touchdowns and 1 interception, I don't care about that interception. That did not lose me the game.
yeah, he was their leading rusher with 103 yards. Guess how much their next leading rusher had?
37.
30. Malachi Hosley had 30 yards.
Oh, I was close. I
You
was
were
in there.
very close, very close. Yeah, gotta be just as a team better than that Georgia Tech. Haynes King can't give you much more than that. I get you've been riding him the entire season, but yeah, get better elsewhere.
Come on.
Number 3 is North Carolina running back Demon June for A, having a monster game, and B, what an awesome name.
Yeah, this one. By the way, this guy in the top 5 was decided on Friday just because of his. I text Nick on Friday going, Demon June is going to be in the top 5 this week because 100 yards rushing, an 80-yard receiving touchdown, and a win.
I forgot where I was at when you texted me this, but
I think you might have been at work.
something like that. But I just pull out my phone and I just see it just says Demon June in top 5. I'm like, huh? And then he's like North Carolina running back. I go look at the line and I was like, oh, okay. And then he texts me again. He just goes, oh, by the way, his name's freaking awesome.
Yeah, his name is quite literally Demon June. Like, at some point, we have to get him on here.
As good of a game he had, he's not the top running back for this week. As number 2 in the top 5 is Caleb Hawkins, running back for North Texas. Good Lord. 33 carries, 197 yards, 4 touchdowns. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, don't say that because Mestamaker has thrown for 600 yards in a game this year. But
It's not like
I mean,
it's not even like
it's just
Mestamaker had a bad game. Sorry, I keep cutting you off. It's not even like Mestamaker had a bad game. He went 19 of 24 with 243.
nah, it's like it was a totally respectable game. It's just Caleb Hawkins was
Caleb
on
Hawkins
one,
was
and they were like,
eating.
you know what, we're just gonna keep giving it to him. So, no, it was. I don't know. As someone who's from like that area, like it's really cool to see North Texas at 8-1 right now, and like
I
just
imagine.
dominating. And by the way, in our top 5 for 2 straight weeks.
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel happy seeing that Kennesaw State is 6-2, and I'm from that area. Imagine how you feel seeing North Texas is 8-1, and
Potentially has a shot at the playoffs.
potentially could go to the freaking playoffs.
Like that's awesome. Like
Yeah.
that'd be so cool to watch. I mean, they're gonna get destroyed in the first round, but
Hey,
I don't care. I'd have a rooting interest.
exactly. All right, and number 1 of the top 5 this week is Danny Scudero. What is it? What do they feed these wide receivers in South Dakota? We mentioned this already, but last year they
Dude,
had Nick Nash
I think their coach picked out their playbook from Madden or
From like a-
something because
from like a video game.
they have to absolutely because they have to just be running go routes with this guy.
I mean,
He got a 50-yard touchdown catch and a 62-yard touchdown catch.
yeah, 7 catches, 215, 2 touchdowns.
And it's like it's not like they were short
Okay.
passes. Like these were deep balls.
Only receiver in college over 1,000 yards, by the way.
Gosh, what a guy.
What a
Also,
guy.
the quarterback Walker, he's got the yardage up. He's completing only 50%, but hey,
Oh,
man,
so they must be just tossing up bombs every
deep,
play.
yeah. Wait. I want to see how many targets Scudero had. Is it not gonna show me?
Let me see. Let me see if I can find it.
Hold on, let me go do a little digging. San
Please pause.
Hold, please. Sorry, it's not that important, but it's like it's semi-important because I want to see this. He finished the game with 9 targets. He only got 9
9
targets.
targets. Wow.
Also, they had 3 guys over 100 yards, and none of them had over 10 catches.
Good Lord. Yeah, they must be just chucking. I mean, it was 20 of 40. Yeah, 20 of 44, 58. Good.
Yeah, no way. Yeah, so Leland Smith had 4 catches, 113 yards, and then Kyrie Scholes had 5 catches, 109 yards. All of them averaged at least 20 yards per catch. Scudero averaged 30.
So this is somebody's player
And they
controlled.
all had a long over 40 yards.
This is somebody's player controlled dynasty for sure.
Yeah, it has to be. We have entered the San Jose State rebuild. All
Team
right.
is 3-5, by the way. Like they're not.
It's
a
the
good
rebuild.
team.
It's the rebuild.
They're
It's
not
the
a good
rebuild
team.
this year.
Yeah, you're right. You're so right.
It's somebody's playing as the offensive coordinator right now because the defense has given up 30 points at least or almost 30 points for 4 of the last 5 games. It looks like 5 of the last 6 or something like that. They've given up at least 28 in every game except for week 1.
Yeah, it's bad.
Somebody's playing as the offensive coordinator, dude. I swear.
To you, for all we know, it could be you.
Yeah. Let me go cook up real quick in the San Jose State.
Anyways, that's gonna round out our top 5 of the week. Moving on to our talking points, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, Hugh Freeze is out. That just creates even more chaos in the carousel. Excuse me. I was mentioning earlier, I didn't think Auburn was going to be able to pull this trigger because, like, there's nobody out there.
I mean, you talked about it. You said there's so many coaches out there. Like, they're not going to get a good coach. They might have to hire from within next year. Like, that might have to be something that
It
happens.
might. I've seen a lot of talk about it being they do hire with it and go with DJ Durkin, and just
Yeah.
elevate him to head coach. Which I mean, a lot of people seem perfectly fine with that. I mean, their defense is not the problem; it's their offense. So, they do that. Go out get an offensive coordinator. I mean, I feel like that'd be perfectly fine
Yeah.
for Auburn. At least at this point of where their program's at and where their team's at, you're gonna have to hire one of them. Because what was one of the things I said last week, Ryan? Or was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
I got no idea.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna fire him, you got to hire somebody who's gonna keep all your stars in the program. I feel like Durkin can do
Oh,
that.
yeah, I got you. Yeah, no, you can't, like, yeah, you're gonna have to keep them somehow, and the best way to do that is just to hire from within.
Yep. All right. Well, quick little point there. Now here's the main topic. As I mentioned earlier, as of when this is uploaded, the first college football playoff ranking will be
Oh,
releasing.
hold on.
What's up?
I'm gonna interrupt you real quick.
Yeah.
I was gonna tell you the snub that we had this week
Oh
for the
yeah,
top
yeah.
five,
Go ahead.
because I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. What was it?
Um, Arch Manning for finally having the game that
Oh my God.
everyone thought he was gonna have throughout the entire year. Like, dude started the game off 2 for 5 with 80 yards and then finished 25 of 33 with 318 and 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. Or 328 yards, sorry, 3 touchdowns. Like, finally, like, I texted my dad. I was like, where has this been all year when it was still, 34-10? Um,
And you just
and
had to
then
activate the
Vanderbilt rattled off
CTE.
21 straight.
He just had to activate the CTE. That happened last week. Now he's good. He should be good now.
He should be good. Jeez.
If he just keeps acting
All right.
crazy, he'll be all right. All right, back to what I was saying. Yeah, college football playoff rankings coming out as the day of this posted. So we, obviously wanted to give what we think should be what we think will be, the playoff picture by the end of the year, and then also offer up some difficulties we did making this ranking because we had a lot of, I guess, I don't want to say debates, but a lot of
We had some discussion.
a lot
We
of
had some
bickering back
discussion.
and forth about who should be where and what. And there's a specific spot in particular that was giving us the most trouble. We're going to talk about that and maybe some chaos scenarios that come with the playoffs. So, Ryan, go ahead and get us started and give us your playoff ranking.
So I'm gonna give you my top 4 to start. all
Okay.
right?
I feel like we have the same top 4. They're a little bit. Oh, no, we don't actually. You have somebody different.
Okay. So I got Ohio State at 13-0 as my conference champion. Alabama at 12-1 as my SEC conference champ. I got Indiana at 3 at 12-1. I think winner of the Big Ten championship is number 1, losers number 3. I think that makes perfect sense.
Makes
They're
sense
the-
to me.
They're two of the. I mean, they've shown that they're two of, if not the 2 best teams in the country this year.
Mhm.
And then I've got Texas Tech at my 4 spot at 12-1 as my Big 12 conference champ. You want me to give the rest, or do you want to give your top 4?
I'll go with my top 4 for now. I also have Ohio State at number 1 at 13-0 in the Big Ten Conference Championship. I do not have Indiana dropping to 3 though. I have them at 2, at 12-1, being the runner-ups to Ohio State. I have Alabama at number 3 at 12-1, being the SEC Championship over Texas A&M, who I have at number 4, who would also be 12-1. In this scenario, with that one loss being to Alabama in the SEC Championship. So the only difference here is we flipped Bama and Indiana and changed the Texas team that was at number 4. You had Texas Tech at Texas.
Yeah. So at number 5, we had the same team in Georgia. I
Georgia.
have them at 11-2. I have them losing the conference championship game to Bama.
So-
I've got Ole Miss at 6 at 11-1. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
So you have. So is this Texas A&M loss to Texas, or is it?
I have.
It is a regular season
Yes,
loss.
it's to Texas. It's
Okay.
to Texas the last week of the season.
Okay, and then you have Georgia losing to. Okay, I got you. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I've got Georgia Tech at 7 as my ACC conference champion at 11-2. I've got Texas A&M at 8 at 11-1. I just think the loss will drop them down further, or the late season loss at least. Um, and then obviously not playing in the conference championship game. I've got Notre Dame at 9 at 10-2. I've got BYU at 10 at 11-2, losing the Big 12 championship game. I've got Oregon at 11 at 10-2, and then as my American Conference championship or champion, I've got North Texas at 11-1.
Okay. Wow. Not every day you're talking about the college football playoffs and then get a notification that your basketball team got embezzled $3.8 million out of them.
Huh?
Here's a report from CBS. The Hawks are victims of wire fraud. Former Hawks executive allegedly embezzled $3.8 million in team funds for cars, trips, and gifts.
Jaw on the floor, by the way. What?
That is really funny that I just got that as we were doing this. Anyways,
Yo, rip the Hawks.
My number 5 team is also Georgia. I have them at 12-1, not making the conference championship. Just
Wait, what? How is that possible?
Texas A&M is
13 games, 12-1.
11-1. My bad. Sorry.
There you go, buddy.
11-1. Got it. He's got me. I have Texas Tech behind them as the Big 12 champions, so they would be 12-1. That win is over BYU. Now looking at this, I realize there are some things that don't quite add up, but I'll address that in a sec. I have Ole Miss at 7 at 11-1. I have Oregon at 8 at 11-1. Notre Dame at 10-2. And this is the part that we got into a little bit of discussion earlier. I have Louisville at 10 at 11-1, but not making the ACC championship. Behind them, I have Georgia Tech, who is 11-2 with another regular season loss, but they win the ACC championship over Virginia. And then at 12, I have Memphis, who wins the American Conference over North Texas. Who do you want to ask me questions first, or do you want me to ask you questions first?
Yeah. We'll talk about yours first.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with my first question on it. Is just, I mean, it's obvious. Why is Louisville still above Georgia Tech, even though Georgia Tech is the ACC champ? I think you could put Louisville in. I think that's reasonable-ish to say. I just want to know why they're still above Georgia Tech.
In this scenario that I have here, I have Louisville winning out, which is versus Clemson at SMU and at Kentucky. So they'd be 11-1. They do that.
Right.
I have Virginia winning out, so they would be 11-1, and they would win their last 3 games. So Virginia would be into the ACC championship. I have Georgia Tech losing their last game of the regular season to Georgia, which is an out-of-conference loss.
Right.
From what I looked up, because I wasn't sure, and by the way, if I'm wrong about this, I have a different team for that 10 spot, which I will address. If that happens, I believe the ACC championship will be Georgia Tech and Virginia, meaning Louisville will be 11-1. They will be, how many conference games they play? They play 9.
Yeah.
They play 10. Am I reading this right? No, they play
No.
9.
No.
Yeah, they play 9. Okay. With that situation, Louisville would be 8-1, and they would have 1 conference loss, and they would be the first team out of the conference championship, but they'd still be into the playoffs based off their 11-1 record. Which means the conference championship would get in, but in this situation, I have it being Georgia Tech. They'd have 2 losses, so I'd have them seated below Louisville. That is why I have that as it is.
Okay.
Go ahead. That's what you were gonna ask.
I'm still confused as to why Louisville is still above Georgia Tech, though. Because Louisville doesn't win their conference, and they're in the same conference.
It's if you go back to last year, who won the ACC?
Clemson.
Okay. How many ACC teams made the playoffs?
That's valid, but
SMU and Clemson made it. SMU was seated higher than Clemson.
What was Clemson's record what was
They had
Clemson's record
they
last year?
had one more
It
loss,
was it was
one more loss than
they
SMU.
had one more loss. They had one
Exactly.
more loss.
In
that's
this scenario,
different.
Georgia Tech
Oh,
has
no, no,
one
no,
more
it's the
loss
exact
than
same. It's
Louisville.
the exact
It is
same.
the
It's the
exact
exact same.
same scenario. That is my reasoning for having Louisville above Georgia Tech.
So how high is Louisville going in? Like how high is Louisville ranked going into
They're probably ranked.
the
They're probably ranked 10th. In this situation, they'd be
so
ranked 10th.
going into the like
Or-
final ranking before like the final
Before
ranking before the playoffs start or before
conference
conference
championship.
championship games.
Sorry, they would be
Yeah.
11. Virginia would be 10. Georgia Tech would be ranked out of the playoffs and getting in only based on the fact that they get the auto bid from their conference championship. The ranking, this is the seeding for the playoffs. In this scenario, Georgia Tech would probably be ranked probably like 16 or something like that, just based off the fact they have an extra loss. Now, if I'm
Okay,
completely
that's-
wrong about the structure of the ACC championship, Vandy is 10.
Okay.
But this
I'm-
is based
I'm
off
seeing it out because okay.
I am understanding of how the ACC works in their tiebreakers. If I'm wrong, Vandy over Louisville. But this is just what I'm seeing.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at it because SMU got up to 8 last year,
Mhm.
lost on a game-losing field goal, and dropped to 11.
But what were they seeded though? Is what I'm.
That's what I'm saying. Is
Yeah.
they dropped to 11 in the seed, and then Clemson, who was
Yeah.
16,
That makes sense. Jumped up to 12.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's like how far out is Georgia Tech, and like how high up is Louisville? That's the thing.
Well,
And
the
like
thing-
if Georgia Tech beats number 9 Virginia, I feel like that would give cause for them to jump ahead Louisville.
Well, the thing Louisville has over SMU in this scenario is that they would not be coming off a loss. They would just be coming off not playing because they wouldn't be in the ACC championship.
Right. That makes sense.
The only problem with that I face with this scenario is what does the committee do with Virginia? Because they've made it clear that they don't plan on punishing teams for losing their conference championship, correct? So it's a one-loss Louisville over a two-loss Virginia, but Virginia has the head-to-head. I could see Virginia being placed over Louisville, but like I could also not.
So-
It's really what the committee's feeling, but I think they would go the two-loss team over the one-loss team, especially since that
Okay.
loss wasn't. It's in the first half of the season, and it was by 3 points.
Right. So looking at this playoff predictor, so it's probably not 100% accurate, but I plugged in, Georgia Tech, Louisville, and Virginia all winning the rest of their games, right?
Georgia Tech does not win the rest of their games. That's the main thing.
Or,
for
or
having-
winning the rest minus the
Minus
Georgia,
Georgia.
winning the rest of the conference games. So I plugged that in, and then sim every other game.
Uh-huh.
It has Louisville versus Virginia.
In the ACC championship?
Yeah.
Okay, so then throw everything I just said out the window and put Vandy at 10. And put Louisville at put Louisville at 10 and Vandy at 11.
Okay, Louisville ACC champ.
Louisville ACC champ at 10, Vandy at large bid at 11.
Okay,
Or
I see that.
at that point it would logically be Virginia, right? Because if they're not going to punish you for conference championship losses, what's Vandy currently ranked? I mean, I guess it's the AP poll, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, 15. Yeah, it'd be Virginia over Vandy because they're not going to drop them out of the playoffs for losing a conference championship game.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's
tough.
one where it's gonna go either way, and it's probably gonna go the way that's gonna, and it's probably gonna be the wrong pick.
Probably, if the right pick to me there would be Virginia at 11 and Louisville at 10, followed by the group of 5.
I think you're
team at
right.
12.
I think the right pick there is an 11-2 Virginia, who's Only loss is to Louisville and NC State though, but um, in a non-con game.
Yeah.
So that's weird.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
So we've got that hashed out. Any other questions you want to ask me? Let me check our time here. Yeah, we're good. Go ahead.
If we go over, it's not the end of the world. I'm sorry.
I
It's.
don't care.
I was like, this is a fun discussion.
This is really fun.
Um, I'm curious as to why is Tech 11-2 in this situation, or are they 12-1?
Which tech are you talking about? Texas?
Yes,
This would be 11-1.
12-1.
12-1, sorry.
So
As to why they're not above anybody.
I was gonna say, why is 12-1 Texas Tech below 11-1 A&M and 11-1 Georgia?
I mean, I personally wouldn't put it that way, but if we're going off base what the committee thinks, and you know what the committee thinks, or you know what they like,
SEC.
they like the SEC. They showed that last year when they had 9-3 Alabama ranked over 10-2 Miami. Because with it depends on what they release today. If they have Texas Tech ranked above Georgia, which well, they're not going to be ranked above Texas A&M. If they haven't ranked above Georgia, then okay, then you can swap Texas Tech and Georgia here. I just don't think Texas A&M losing in this scenario is enough to vault Texas Tech over them into a bye week, since it's not by conference championships anymore. The automatic buys.
Okay, that's valid. I respect that.
That's something I liked about that method of seeding with the conference champions getting the automatic buys, because it took away all this discussion about who should get a buy and who shouldn't.
Yeah, but it's also like Boise State should not have had a bye last year.
That's the problem with that system.
So this is still objectively better.
It's objectively better, but like you're trading one set of problems for another set of problems.
Yeah.
But as we saw, the best team. What, didn't all those teams that had a bye lose in the first round? Georgia, Arizona State, or in the first game they played? Georgia, Arizona State, Oregon,
Arizona
and
State,
Boise.
Georgia,
Yeah.
Boise State. Yeah.
All the teams that had buys went 0-4. So did it matter at the end of the day? No.
Nope.
All right. Any more questions for me before I shoot some at you?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna move on to you. I already asked one earlier. I asked this Texas A&M loss was to Texas. You clarified that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning you had Georgia in the SEC championship losing to Bama again. And
Yep.
That's what that 11-2 is. Okay.
Yep.
Ole Miss, no, we're good there. Georgia Tech. I'm assuming the second loss is to Georgia.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the only reason Georgia's number 5.
Okay. BYU, are both of these Texas Tech losses? One in the regular season, one in the okay. Who's this second Oregon loss?
Washington.
Okay, so you have an upset going into the last week of the season, and you think that would keep them in over a team like Vanderbilt or Louisville?
I think
that's another thing. Who's the
I think because they're gonna be 10-1. They're gonna be number 6. Like Washington is also gonna be 9-2 because they.
Oof.
I'm actually writing I'm actually writing an article about this right now. But they're gonna be 9-2 going into their last couple of games as well, which Washington was the only team I didn't write about, which really sucks for me because I gotta refresh ESPN now.
So Washington is 9-2, and they beat Oregon to go to 10-2, and Oregon's also 10-2.
Yeah, but both of those teams are still out of Washington is still out of the Big Ten championship game. Yeah, Washington has Wisconsin, Purdue, UCLA. UCLA might be a little bit tough, but I think they can handle that one.
So in that scenario, why would Washington not get an over Oregon? If they both have the same record and Washington has the head-to-head?
It's a great question that I didn't really think about.
Because it makes
Um,
sense if neither of them get in, but if Oregon gets over Washington,
I think maybe at the time I was thinking Washington might lose to UCLA on the road,
okay.
but it honestly could depend on UCLA beating Washington and then Oregon beating Washington. But I also could, yeah, yeah, that's
Okay.
kind of what I'm looking at.
And it's this last at large spot is the one spot we were talking about earlier mainly. It was me with
Yeah.
Louisville, and then you had Oregon here, and then I see your outside teams looking in. You have Vandy winning out. You
hmm
have Michigan with the loss to Ohio State. I'm gonna address
No,
that
no,
in a
no,
second.
no, no, no.
Or
That's yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
that's the
That's
conditional
fine.
that you're saying they're in if they beat Ohio State. I agree. If they win out. Who is the second Louisville lost to? Is it
It
the
was. I was looking at it. I gotta look at it again. It is SMU on the road.
okay? And then Virginia. Are you in this scenario presuming Virginia loses another game to?
I threw out Virginia because they were in the conference championship game and they lost, and I was like, there. I don't think there's gonna be that many ACC teams in. I don't feel like that conference is that strong this year. Like I they've got some strong teams, but I just don't feel that their schedules are that strong to where they're going to match up to some of the competition levels. Because like
I agree.
Virginia's best win right now is Louisville, technically, but at the time it was Florida State. And
Okay,
Florida State, we know, is not great.
not good.
Miami hasn't really been playing great as of late.
Okay.
Um,
So
you know what I'm
there's
saying?
a lot of teams right now, that you could say, oh, they went out. They're right there.
Yeah, hit
Uh,
if they win out right there, they're not going to win out. But if they win out, they're right there. Virginia,
Miami,
Louisville,
as you just mentioned, Miami,
Miami, not SMU.
not
They have
SMU.
three
No, no, no,
losses.
no, no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, no. I was looking at their conference record for a second
Aren't they?
there.
Are they undefeated in conference
Uh,
play? They got one loss.
one loss.
Logically, if they win,
Um,
but I don't think they're gonna.
I like maybe they could pop in, but like Utah, Washington, Cincinnati is technically still in the race.
Yeah.
Mizzou, technically, they're not gonna, but technically.
Uh,
Oklahoma, if they can beat Alabama.
they won't.
It's everyone in this top 25 is honestly very deserving of being in the top 25. Even some of those first teams out, Iowa, two-loss team, could do something about it.
Pitt, you already mentioned
Uh,
two-loss team.
there's so many teams that are right there that like it's not too early to start the college. I think this is a great time to start the CFP rankings because there are still a lot of teams left, but and there's still there's still enough teams to where there could be a lot of movement week to week. But there's only I don't know. There's not. It's. I feel like it's still a tad bit too early to start talking about it because there are so many teams.
Well, to be fair, we're only
But
talking about it because we were prompted to talk about it. So, but to be fair,
and
I'm
that's fine. And
really
it's
glad
like
we were
it's
prompted to
good
talk about it.
conversation because there's so much to talk about.
Oh yeah,
There's still so many teams to talk about right now. And USC, if they went out and Michigan drops a game, they could find themselves in the Big Ten championship.
they'd find themselves in
There's
anyways because they have the head-to-head over Michigan.
right. Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. I was thinking of Washington a second ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, if Michigan goes 10-2, USC goes 10-2, USC's in.
There's I really think there's only one team that's currently, at least in the AP poll, which is all we have at the moment because at the time we're filming this, we don't have the CFP poll out. There's currently one team in the AP poll that I don't think can make the playoffs at this point. I want you to try and guess who it is.
Is it Tennessee?
It's Tennessee.
They're
All three.
3 loss.
3 loss. They don't have. They're not going to win their conference because all 3 of those losses are in conference.
And they don't really have a good win.
They don't have a good win. Their best win is
They don't necessarily. None of their losses were
are
bad
bad.
losses.
They
It's
just
just
what their best win is
lost.
is
Mississippi State.
Like, yeah,
It's Mississippi State.
yeah. That's not good enough. So
It's not
other
going to
than-
cut it.
Yeah, there's like as of right now, there's those 24 plus. You said Iowa is 6-2. Iowa is 6-2. Let me look Pete Thumb real quick.
I don't
mean,
think they will win out because
I don't think they will
have some
either.
tough games.
They play Oregon this week, so and then they play USC right after that. Like I don't think they're gonna get there either, but there's a
Yeah.
path for them. North Texas has some
they
votes.
control their destiny.
Exactly. North
Like-
Texas has some votes down here. You had them in right over Memphis.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
I have so much faith in them.
Yeah, and then there's some other teams that so there's more than 25 teams right now who still, as of right now, I firmly believe
Actively have
with
a
their
chance.
own destiny have a chance to make the playoffs. Now,
There does need to be a little bit of craziness.
there are some of these teams are going to get
what
whittled
is
out.
college football without a little bit of craziness?
Some of these teams are going to get, whittled down just because they play each other, and there's going to be some teams that just randomly drop a game. Like you said, you have Louisville randomly dropping to SMU. Like that's possible. That is a very possible outcome that could just wipe them out immediately.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to watch in the coming weeks. I'm really interested to see how the committee stacks some of these teams, especially within the 9 to 15 range. When they release the rankings tonight,
That is also gonna
decide
determine so much.
because it'll tell us where
What-
they stand, and they have all the power.
Right, and also like if you start at 9 and say you're a one-loss team at say you're Texas Tech right now.
Yeah.
You're a one-loss team at 9. You lose to BYU, you're probably dropping to 14,
Yeah.
but if you beat BYU, you're right back in it.
No, you are in it. You
Right.
win the rest of your regular season games, you're good. You're going to the playoffs.
Exactly. If you there's so much that can happen right now. There's so much chaos.
And this something-
Jackson and I were looking at it earlier, and we had a scenario where it was 5 10-2 SEC teams and 2 11-1 SEC teams, and
who are
it's
the
like
11 and
which.
ones?
So it was Texas A&M 11-1, Ole Miss 11-1,
Uh-huh.
Alabama 10-2, Georgia 10-2, Texas 10-2, Oklahoma 10-2, Vandy 10-2. And it's like,
Texas
well, you
10-2.
kind of have to leave out Oklahoma and Vandy.
Okay, so wait, hold on. So you said Texas A&M at one
Texas
loss.
A&M, 1 loss
Texas, right?
to Texas,
Okay. Bama, 1 loss, went out.
2 loss.
Oh, Oklahoma. Okay. And then who was the other 1-loss team?
Ole Miss,
Was it Ole Miss? Okay. And then you had Georgia to 2 losses. Who was the second loss to?
Tech, I think.
Oh, no, it was to Texas. Sorry, because Texas has to have 2 losses.
Texas,
And then
you're right. It was to Texas because
so
yeah,
okay, so A&M, Ole Miss at 1 loss, Bama, Georgia, Oklahoma, Texas, and
Vandy.
Vandy at wow. Yeah, that could happen.
and it's like Vandy and Oklahoma. You're leaving Vandy and Oklahoma out of the playoff
Yeah, unfortunately.
because Texas beat both of them.
Yeah. You got to roll with that at
So-
that point.
Yeah. There's also a world where Texas goes 9-3 and maybe they're on the outside looking in.
I don't think a 3-loss, like especially this year, maybe last year with how many
Well, a
teams
3-loss
had
team
slips
did
ups.
get in last year.
Yeah, but that was on automatic qualifiers. Like
That's also true.
I don't think a 3-loss team has a chance at an at-large bid. Let me say that.
Yeah, but there is a possibility that it could happen.
Yeah. One thing I'm excited for, man. Say what you want about the 12-team playoffs and the chaos it creates. It gives you those 4 home playoff games in those
Oh.
stadiums. I don't care what the final score is. They're awesome. All 4 of those games
It's
were awesome.
it's so exciting, especially as a student on campus.
Oh yeah, because what was it last year? Ohio
That
State. It was Ohio State, Penn State, Texas,
uh
and Notre Dame.
Texas and
Notre Dame.
yes.
So
Yes.
should say what we have in the AP poll right now is what we got for the playoffs. That's
It's
a home playoff game
Georgia,
at Georgia, Oregon,
Oregon.
Ole Miss, BYU. BYU's kind of the odd dog out here, but Georgia, Oregon, Ole Miss
yeah.
hosting a playoff game. BYU's crazy
BYU.
too. BYU's nice too. I'm just saying, there's those three top dogs. Then BYU's not bad though. But man,
BYU's nice.
BYU's nice. Get those mountains in the playoffs. Ooh.
Ooh,
But
come on.
anyways, Georgia, Oregon, Ole Miss, and BYU, those four.
Those are all great atmospheres, by the way.
Yeah, and you could shuffle this around a little bit. Let's say Texas Tech beats BYU. That swap them in. That's
Yeah.
oh man.
It would be so exciting to be a student on one of those campuses.
Listen out there.
And it's
Go ahead.
the home playoff games. I mean, they generate a lot of revenue for the campuses. They create excitement around the town. It's mostly money, like that boosts it a lot, but it's like it's still just exciting to be a fan of these teams and have an opportunity to go watch a home playoff game.
Like I said, I say what you want about the structure of the 12-team playoffs. Say what you want about the quality of the football games itself. Imagine being a student that goes to Notre Dame on South Bend, Indiana on a Friday, the first playoff game, first 12-team playoff game ever, first home playoff game ever, and you watch Jeremiah Love run 98 yards for the first score of the game. I'm passing out. Me personally.
Dude, I don't even think I'd be able to yell by the end of the game because of how excited I am.
I'm going to lose my voice by halftime.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, we are rolling way over. We're over time. We still have game previews to get to. So
Do we have to do the game previews?
yes, it's fine. We have one
All right,
less.
we'll
than
make them
normal.
quick.
One less.
We'll make
than
them
normal.
quick.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the playoffs next week when we actually have a ranking to go off of, and it'll be more exciting. And it's just gonna get more exciting the more we go on. All right, moving on to the game previews for Week 11. Much like last week, not a lot of good things to work with. We only have 5 this week, as opposed to the regular 6, just because, well, there really isn't anything. Starting off with game day, going to Texas Tech and BYU, pretty big, scenario creator for the playoffs that we were just mentioning. This game holds a lot of weight.
Yeah, no, it could determine a lot with the playoffs, and as we've already mentioned, I have Texas Tech beating BYU twice, so of course I'm going to pick Texas Tech to win this one.
I too have Texas Tech beating BYU in this game. It's interesting to see both these teams have won against everybody they played so far, pretty much by just being more dominant in the trenches. BYU runs the ball up there with the best in the country. Meanwhile, on the other side, Texas Tech stops the run up there with the best in the country. So it's really interesting to see how that's going to work out. My mark for this game is going to be, at least for BYU, about 130 rushing yards. I'll say 140. 140 rushing yards. They get more than that, they win. They get less than that, Texas Tech wins. That is the number that's going to control the game because we really haven't seen BYU.
That's Vegas' line.
For what? The over-under on rushing yards?
Yeah.
Are you
it's the
serious
Vegas
or are you
line.
joking?
No, that's your line. I'm saying
Oh, okay.
it's house line.
I was about to be like, get out of here.
Get me in the booth.
But yeah, we haven't seen BYU being stopped in the running and have to turn to the air to get their offensive production. Texas Tech is the team with the possibility to do that to BYU the most, and I think they're going to. So yeah, give me the Red Raiders. All right, moving on.
Red Raiders.
Texas.
Yum.
What?
Red Raiders.
Red Raider. All right. Is that Red Robin?
Yep.
All right, that's funny. All right, moving on. Texas A&M and Missouri. Texas A&M still yet to take a loss. Missouri coming off about a loss that was an inch from being a win against Vandy 2 weeks ago.
Well, it was an
and-
inch from overtime.
Inch from overtime. Sorry. Inch from overtime. But yeah, really, really close. Nonetheless, Ryan, who do you got?
You know, I'm gonna show my bias here.
Ooh.
I'm gonna. I said earlier, so I said earlier on a different show that Texas A&M was gonna win 20-7. I'm gonna hedge my bets here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say that the the Shapiro family coming up is gonna bring a little bit more luck. I'm gonna say that Faroe Field has a little bit of magic left to give. I'm gonna say that Mizzou's gonna win this one 27-23.
Okay. Here's what I'm thinking. This Missouri offense has been built on running the football, and a main part of it has been they like to play +1, especially in the red zone. They play +1 and keep the ball with their quarterback to run. What's the problem with that, Ryan?
Well, sometimes you injure your quarterback doing that.
Yeah, their quarterback's ankle is in a cast right now, and he's not going to be playing. So they're going to have Matt Zollers at quarterback, who I think is going to be perfectly fine throwing the ball. The problem is when they get down into the red zone, they're not going to be able to run that +1. And Texas A&M is going to single in on Ahmad Hardy and say, hey, quarterback's not really that much of a threat to run as the other one. They're going to give the ball to the
Run
running
an
back if they're
RPO,
running the ball.
then what do you mean? If they're gonna key in on Ahmad Hardy, run some
that's-
RPO.
You're going to get that, but it's a central foundation of Missouri's red zone offense is playing +1 with the quarterback, because now you have to guard 2 backs with running ability rather than 1.
That's fair.
I think that's going to kind of
get
trip
that.
Mizzou up, and I think Texas A&M offensively is way too talented to be kept to. What was your score prediction?
27-23.
Okay, actually, I could see them being held to 23 points. But I don't think Mizzou's
They
going to
held
27.
Bama to 20. They held Bama to 27. They held Vanderbilt to 17.
No, you're right. You're right.
Like,
You're right.
This
You're
is
right.
this is a top 5 defense in the country. By the
The
way,
defense is not where Missouri is going to lose this game. I think it's going to be offensively, and I'm going to go.
it's going to
Texas
be the
A&M.
fact that they can't keep up offensively.
Exactly.
I agree with that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go Texas A&M. Tulane, Memphis. Tulane shot themselves in the foot.
Last week,
Who did they lose to? UTSA.
UTSA.
Yeah. But I do recall Memphis shooting themselves in the foot a little bit earlier on this year. Then they went to play South Florida, and then they beat South Florida and are now back in front of the American. So anything could happen. Yeah, I'm going Memphis though.
Yeah, anything can happen, but Memphis, since that loss to UAB, they picked up a win versus South Florida, went on the road to Rice, dominated. You know, Rice isn't great, but they're a 500 team. Give me Memphis. I don't think Tulane's gonna win after that loss last week, but actually, you know what? No, let me flip that real quick. Memphis lost their one game that they could lose to UAB right before they played South Florida.
Yeah.
They beat South Florida.
That's what I just.
Tulane wasted a loss last week.
That's what I
Now
just
they play
said,
a top
Shapiro.
25 Memphis. What?
That's what I just said.
Yeah, but you picked Memphis.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
We're gonna go over here and we're gonna pick Tulane
All right then.
because it's the same situation. Granted, Memphis is home, so
Yeah. Well, I think was Memphis home against USF?
yeah, they were.
They were. Okay. Yeah, I'm going Memphis.
Yeah, probably the right bet, but I'll take Tulane.
Okay. Well,
I like their green wave.
Green Wave. All right, moving over to the Big Ten, Oregon, Iowa. Man, this is like the only good game we could find for the Big Ten this week. They have a bunch of teams on bye, and then they have the good teams that aren't on bye are playing dumpster fires like Ohio State playing Purdue and Indiana playing the corpse that is Penn State. So that's really all we got is Oregon and Iowa. It's at Iowa. Iowa's a solid team, 6-2, but yeah, give me Oregon.
Not even a question. Give me the Ducks.
Yeah. Skull Ducks.
Go Ducks.
On their way to what I think should be another playoff appearance for them. If they don't screw it up, which their only bad game
They've
was...
been prone to do.
They are, which, to be fair, their only bad game was against Indiana, and, Indiana is like that, so...
I'm just saying, a couple of years ago, they choked it to Washington.
They did. But that was to Washington, who also took their spot in the playoffs. Is Iowa going to do that? I don't think so. So,
No.
give me the Ducks.
No.
All right, last game. We had to really reach and find for this one. We decided to go with Iowa State.
Scraping the barrel.
Yeah, Iowa State TCU over in the Big 12. Both 6-2 teams. Both teams were looking really good at points in the season and then have collapsed. I thought you said both these teams were 6-2. You lied to me.
No,
Did I just hear you wrong?
I said one was 6-2, one was 5-4.
Okay, well, I mean, I was gonna pick TCU anyways, so
Yeah, it's a home game for the Horned Frogs. Iowa State has looked rough this year. I think it's going to be TCU.
TCU Hypnotoad.
Some very basic picks this week, but when it's a week like this week,
There's not crap, man.
there's almost nothing.
Yeah, I just really like Josh Hoover as a quarterback.
He's a fun quarterback.
Really, Big 12's got man, or just the state of Texas. Sorry, you had Hoover, you have Mestemaker, you have Baron Morton,
Sawyer Robertson,
and there's this other guy with the last name Manning.
he's finally coming along.
Marcel Reed. So I mean, everything's bigger in
there's
Texas.
so many.
Even the amount of good quarterbacks. So
Except for me.
okay, well, not everybody can be a success, Ryan. I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm sorry. That's terrible.
No. I made the joke. It's fine.
All right, that's gonna do it for this week's episode of the Pre-Snap Pressure Podcast. I'm sorry, that was terrible.
I don't care, dude. I made the joke. It's fine.
Anyways, hopefully by the time this is up, you're gonna be done with this episode. Of time to go watch the college football playoff rankings and see if we have any idea what we're talking about or if we're two babbling idiots. Anyways, thank you for watching. Probably the latter.
Too babbling it is.
Probably the latter. I agree. Anyways, thank you for watching. We will see you next week.